welcome. We actually are doing a video tonight, so if you are watching this from home, welcome to you too, and those who are here tonight. This is Mindfulness Meditation, week number 2. I'm Michael, and last week we introduced our basic meditation, which is sitting and focusing on the breath. We'll be expanding that today and in weeks ahead, but we'll almost always want to start with what we call a sit. So I'll lead you through that. So begin by finding your dignified meditation posture. If you can, don't use the back of the chair, but if you have to, that's okay. Try to feel your back rather straight but not stiff. Feel your feet firmly planted on the floor and your hands resting quietly. You can close your eyes or gently look down forward. And we begin by feeling our body, feeling it planted here, feeling the sensation of our feet on the floor, our pelvis on the chair. Feel the weight, feel the pressure. Our hands as they're resting. Our back is straight. And briefly scan the whole body. Look for any areas of tension and let them release, especially the shoulders. Let the shoulders drop. And then we bring attention to our breath, the sensation of each breath, one at a time, in and out. Whether you feel it at the nostrils, the chest, or the belly, just focus on that breath, one at a time. You may want to say to yourself gently, rising, falling. Notice what it feels like to just be with each breath, calmly noticing. And our attention will inevitably wander off the breath to some thought, perhaps a sound or a sensation. And we just note that and let it go and come back to the breath. That's our goal. That's mindfulness, being aware of what's happening in our mind, in our body, in our environment, being aware of it, but not attaching to it, not pushing it away, just noticing it and letting it go, moment by moment. You want to do this with a bit of curiosity, like, oh, there's a thought. There, I hadn't thought of that in a while. And just notice it and then let it go. Don't dwell on it. Come back to the breath. Not judging ourselves, just noticing. may be helpful to notice at the end of the in-breath, notice the brief pause. And then after the out-breath, a little longer pause, and just notice that before you take the next in-breath. I like to think of those thoughts that occur as things that need my attention, but all they need is just to be aware of it. Oh, there's that plan for tomorrow, or that memory of what I did, or what we're going to make for the next meal, or what we're going to wear. And just notice that. That's enough, and let it go. Come back to the breath. Just doing this, just taking this time to concentrate on the breath and let the thoughts and other things go by, trains our brain to be more aware of the moment and be more awake and know what's going on in our world, in ourselves, and with other people. From time to time, we may want to check in with the body again, feel if the posture is right. And it's okay to make small corrections, and then come back to the breath. If you feel something slightly uncomfortable in the body, an itch is something that's particularly troubling for me sometimes. I kind of notice it. Okay, I feel it. What does it really feel like? And if you can just kind of let it fade into the background and come back to the breath, it will usually fade. But if there's a sensation that's particularly troubling, let's say an itch, after 3 or 4 breaths it's still there and you just can't get off of it, it's okay to go ahead and scratch it and then come back to the breath. And we can relax and thank ourselves for this practice. So, as I said, last week we were focusing on concentration on the breath, just as we've done now. Talked a little bit about what mindfulness is and the different benefits of it. Since we didn't record last week, I'll just talk about that again for a moment. As I said, mindfulness is basically paying attention in each moment, non-judgmentally, and with intention. So we say to ourselves, I'm going to pay attention now. At the beginning of a meditation session, it's a good idea to set a little intention for yourself. Okay, I'm going to sit now for so long, and I'm just going to pay attention. Or, when something comes in my mind, I'm just going to try to let it go. That helps. But it's done with this sense of lightness, forgiveness. We don't get hard on ourselves. That doesn't get us anywhere. I had asked each of you, there's 3 things I ask you to do. Come to each class. Thank you. Try to do your practice as much every day if possible. And read the stuff in the book. I think we were supposed to have read up to page 76. That's through week 1 in the book. And so we have time now to kind of go around the circle and talk about how it's been this past week for us. How's your practice? Anything that came up? Any questions on the reading? And being mindful that we're being recorded. But I will ask you to say your first name. Would you like to start, Kim?
Sure.
Thank you.
This is Kim. The meditations without any music or sound, it was harder for me to do. It was a bit more challenging, but at the same time, I think it helped a lot with my focus a little bit more. One of the other things that you had asked us to do was also to, as you're doing different maybe jobs around the house, pay attention specifically to that. And that really made me realize how much our mind continually wanders, like almost all the time. And by doing that, it made me realize how much enjoyment of things you're missing out on. So that was a big awareness. And then what else? Oh, and then with you mentioning being hard on yourself, when it's even like you have thoughts going on in your mind, I was thinking, oh, maybe my dad's gonna get mad at me for that, and then you start like overthinking it, and then I thought, okay, think about it and release it, and then that just helped me just let it go, and I was a lot calmer, and I actually slept a lot better last week, so I think it helped.
Thank you.
I'm Amy. I did have a question. Some days I was able to, I didn't get lost in a lot of mind, or my mind didn't wander a lot during the meditation, but other days it was continuous. Just constantly, thinking, and then back to the breath, and back and forth. And I just wondered, are those days, am I benefiting from that still, or when,
Yes, those days will always happen.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's a bad meditation.
Yesterday I drove to Appleton, and I wanted to listen to my podcast, but for some reason it wouldn't work, so I actually took the opportunity to just just be mindful of, like you should be when you're driving, but, just really, take in my surroundings and focus and feel the road and just feel the steering wheel and smell the air and just everything. And I just couldn't believe how much, I miss some days, just the beauty around, just drive or wherever. You know, so that was really beautiful.
Good.
So,
I'm Marcia. I had a lot of similar to Kim there too, just, meditating, thinking of things and just saying, let it go. Let it go, and it was just like, yeah, you're more relaxed about things. Coming to the realization too that I can't fix everything and letting that go. So that was my week. I can't change the universe. And it's okay. But I found it very relaxing as well when I did it each day, and found I slept better as well. Like a rock.
Well, you've talked about some of the benefits of meditation. Being aware of simple pleasures is really one that a lot of us notice. Things that we miss because we're so lost in thought and busy with our days, and just coming back to being aware is really, that's why the book's called Real Happiness. And also, I'm glad you were able to do what we call informal practice, where you pay attention to things you do. So you choose an activity, let's say you're vacuuming, and you just say to yourself, well, I'm just going to vacuum and pay attention to vacuuming. What it sounds like, what it feels like, what it looks like, and when my mind goes into some other plan, notice that and just come back to the vacuuming. It's a wonderful practice that we can just pick up on any time. One of the other benefits I think you mentioned is peace and calm. Everyone tends to feel that, and that's one reason why you're sleeping better. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Now, one of the things we're going to do tonight is even more calming. We're going to begin into becoming more aware of the body. The first step is concentration on the breath. The next thing that we've already talked about a bit is being more aware of our bodies. A lot of us really aren't that much aware of what's happening in our body. We're so much in our heads. And bringing our attention down, instead of just looking at our feet, we're actually feeling them. And there's some specific meditation practices that will be in the next chapter you're going to read that we'll begin to do tonight that work on that. And some people find these practices better than sitting, so you can pick out what you want. So the first one I'd like to do with you is called the body scan. You can do this sitting, but fortunately we've got yoga mats here, and it's really best to do it lying down. So let's try that, okay? It looks like you can see me on the screen, so that's good. I'll just come into the middle a little bit more. And there a lot of teachers will in this exercise we bring our attention to one specific part of the body at a time, and then we kind of move through the body. Now, a lot of teachers will start at the head and move down to the feet. I learned it starting at the feet and moving up to the head. Either way works, so just bear with me as we do it my way, okay? So we begin by lying down flat. Hopefully you're fairly comfortable. You can do this in bed. This is so relaxing. A lot of people do use this to help them get to sleep at night. Lying down is even more conducive to that. So we're just lying down flat, and first we just feel our body on the floor. Feel the weight of our body, and just feel what it feels like to lie down flat for a minute. You can have your eyes open or closed. And we'll start with noticing our left foot. Begin with the toes on the left foot. Is there any feeling in the toes right now? Just pay attention there. Is there tingling, warmth, coolness? Move to the bottom of the left foot, the sole, and down to the heel. Feel the weight of the heel on the floor. Any other sensations in the bottom of the foot? Go to the top of the left foot. Do you feel your shoes, your socks? Do you feel the air around you? We're just noticing, just paying attention, one piece at a time. Now to the left ankle, just focus on the left ankle. Is it stiff or loose or achy, or maybe there's no feeling there at all? Just notice it. Now moving up to the lower leg on the left, the calf and the shin. Feel the weight of it on the floor. And the left knee. And the left upper leg. And we may notice our attention wandering to something else. We just bring it back to the body, that specific part. Now to the right foot, with the toes on the right foot. We don't necessarily have to move anything, but it's okay if you want to wiggle your toes a little bit to feel them. Feel the bottom of the right foot and the heel. Feel the top of the right foot. Feel the right ankle. Just noticing whatever feeling is there. Not, just noticing it. Maybe it hurts. Maybe it feels pleasant. And just say, oh, I feel it. And then moving on to the next part. The lower leg on the right. And the right knee. And the right upper leg. Any feeling there? Maybe a feeling of weightiness or lightness. Feel the pelvis resting on the floor. Do you feel several different points in the pelvis where it rests? Feel the hardness of the floor. Move to the front of the pelvis. Any feelings in there? Tingling perhaps? And the lower abdomen in front. Does it feel light or heavy or bloated or empty? Can you feel any of the organs inside? moving up to the lower ribs. Feel the breath in the chest and the belly with each rising and falling. Feel the chest in front. Now move back down to the pelvis and back and move up to the lower back. Feel the arch of the back. Up to the upper back, feel where it's resting on the floor. Feel the shoulder blades resting on the floor. Feel the shoulders, both shoulders, just feel them. Are they tense or loose? Are they open or closed? Now down to both hands. Feel the fingers of both hands as they are dangling. Feel the palm of the hand and the back of the hand as they rest on the floor. Notice both wrists, the forearm, the elbows and upper arm up to the shoulders. Now pay attention to the neck, both in front and back, inside and outside. Does it feel straight or curved? Does it feel restless or calm? Feel the lower jaw. Feel the cheeks. Cold or warm. Any sensation of air on the cheeks. Feel the lips, dry or moist. Feel how they may touch each other, be open. Notice the nose, just feel the nose in space. Notice the eyes and the eye sockets. Do they feel sunken or swollen or heavy, light? Feel the forehead. Feel the ears on both sides as they hang out in the air. Are they touching anything? Touching hair or feel the air? Feel the back of the head as it's resting on the floor. And move up to the top of the head. Any sensation there? Take a deep breath in and blow it out through the top of the head. Imagine that. And just take a moment once again to just feel the whole body resting. And when you're ready, you can get up. sometimes people will do more progressive relaxation where they'll tighten a certain area and let it relax, or purposefully let an area relax, which is certainly common when we're sitting. Can you imagine how this can help somebody to get to sleep? Let's get back in our chairs and we can talk about this experience. As I said, some people like the body scan so well that's their preferred primary meditation. My grandson, who is an athlete, a wrestler, really is quite aware of his body, and he really likes the body scan. Anybody have questions or comments on this experience?
It's very relaxing, and the problem that I have is I generally fall asleep, which I very easily could.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, I do too.
I found the areas of tension after you talked about it, was just like a weight, just released.
Mm-hmm.
Found myself like jerking. You know what I mean? You know when you get a massage,
Yeah, like being guided through the body scan. I listen to, or I have an app that they do a body scan, but it's more like, now we'll scan the body starting with the head, and I get to about here, and then I'm lost in thought, and they're like, and now I'm supposed to be done, and I haven't even started. So
yeah, many people find the guided meditation really helps a lot.
mm-hmm.
So as I said, this is a kind of we're training. We're building those brain pathways to be aware of our body.
Mm-hmm.
So as we go through our day, it's good to check in once in a while. How am I feeling right now in my body, in my mind? And if you do the practices, you get used to it, and then you notice it more. And it helps you to relax. It helps you to take better care of yourself, I guess. So that's one. There are several other kinds of body awareness meditations, and we're going to try one other one tonight. Now this one is more energizing. How many of you have done some yoga? This is a kind of easy yoga I was taught at mindfulness-based stress reduction. I like to think of it more as mindful stretching. So there are some poses and stretches that we'll do, and the most important thing with this is not how well you're doing it, but how much attention you pay to each thing. And you'll notice, I'm not doing this right, and you just say, okay, and you just try, and you pay attention to what the body feels like in these postures. I have a handout that I'll give you later tonight if you want to use these at home, and also some sites where you can have guided yoga. The handout has two different kinds, standing and lying down. We'll do the standing one. So you'll want to stand so that you have some room like this and like this. And generally, you can have your eyes open or closed. Some of them are nearly impossible, I think, to do with eyes closed. And just begin by just noticing ourselves in the standing posture, what sometimes is called the mountain pose. Just standing, not too stiff, but straight. Feel the hands hanging down, feel the feet on the floor. And take a couple of breaths, noticing the breath. Of course, you can do the standard breathing meditation standing too. If you're falling asleep trying to sit, you can stand. People will find different ways of using this. I like to do these mindful stretching exercises in the morning before I do my sitting. I find it helps to wake up both my mind and my body. Some people will find, once again, that this is their preferred kind of meditation. So we'll begin just by swinging our arms back and forth. Feeling the air as we move them, feeling our shoulders. And we can bring them quite high. Just feeling the looseness, feeling the shoulders. And then let them relax. We'll do a little neck. Oh no, shoulders next. Just bring the shoulders up toward the ears and down. And once again, up. Feel the stretch. What does it feel like? Feel it in the shoulders and then down. Feel the looseness. And up. And down. Take an in-breath with up. And out-breath with down. And just feel, how do the shoulders feel now? Now shoulders back and forward, pinching together. Back with an in-breath. Forward with an out-breath. And 2 more times on your own. Back and forward. And rest. And now a little neck exercise. Bring the chin down. Just let the neck, the head sag down. And bend to the right. Feel the stretch in the left side of the neck and the right side of the neck and in the back and perhaps in your throat. And breathe. And now down forward and to the left. Breathe and feel the stretch. And forward. Next one is a balance pose. We'll begin by putting the arms out to the side, putting the weight on the right foot, and just lifting the left foot up so the toes are touching the floor. And feel the balance. And down. Arms up, and now weight on the left foot. And just feel the balance. Feel the pressure on the foot. Feel the shoulders and the arms in this position. And down. Now we'll try once again on the right foot. And if you can, lift your foot off the floor. Feel the balance or imbalance. And down. And now on the left foot, bring your foot up if you can. And down. Remember to breathe. Now it's sort of a crane pose. On the right foot, bring the arms up and the leg up. The left leg up and down. And on the left foot, right leg up, arms up and down. Once again on the right foot, arms up and down. Arms up, left foot down and down. Good. Now a pose called the sumo pose. Hands on hips, feet a little bit further apart, toes pointed outward. And on an out breath, squat so that the thighs are about parallel to the floor. And take a breath in and out. And on an in breath up, and the same thing again. Breathe in, breathe out and squat. And feel the position. Take a breath and feel what your legs feel like. And up. 2 more on your own. Good. Feet closer together, hands on hips. This is a twist. Twist to the right, and feel the twist, and back to forward. Twist to the left, and back to forward. On an in breath, twist to the right, breathe in and out. See if you can twist a little farther. And a little farther. And back to center. And twist to the left. Breathe. Twist a little more. And back to center. Let the arms fall down. And we'll just do a little silly twisting with the arms hanging. So, like this. Do it more. And then let it release. Some of them are kind of silly. That's okay. It's good to laugh at ourselves. And this one is some call it waterfall or ragdoll, and it's just kind of letting the body slump down. So beginning with the head, let the neck down, and let the arms and shoulders fall down, and gradually let the back bend forward, bending down, let the knees bend slightly, feel the shoulders release, and just keep bending down as far as you feel comfortable. Feel the stretch, feel it in your legs, feel it in your back. Breathe. And on an in-breath, begin to come up, feel the back straightening like a stack of blocks, getting back in line. Let the shoulders relax. One more balance pose. This is a modified tree pose. Put hands on hips. Weight on the right foot. Bring the left foot so the heel is touching the ankle and the toe is pointed out at a right angle. Bring the hands up above the head. Just feel that. And if you can, move it into a tree pose. Bring the left foot up off the floor. Feel the stretch. Back down to prayer pose. And relax. Hands on hips. Right weight on the left foot. Right heel on the left ankle. Right toes pointed outward at a right angle. Hands toward the sky. And try just shifting all the weight onto the left foot. And down. Prayer pose and relax. And we'll just cool off a second by lying down. First, seated. And we'll try to stretch both legs out forward. And now the left leg, stretch it out forward. And the right foot forward. Oh, I'm getting a cramp in my left calf. Just notice that.
It's not good.
And bend down forward, feel the back. Stretching. And then lie down on the back. Corpse pose. Hand, palms toward the ceiling. Let the toes fall outward and feel the body on the floor. And we can get up into our chairs when you're ready. Questions, comments on those poses?
I think when you do yoga and those stretches, it does relieve a lot of tension in your body, and I think you don't realize how much tension you're actually holding. And when I first started yoga, I think, 2 years ago, I was like a ball of tightness. And then even just over time, you start to relax, but then it's like you get deeper and you start to realize how much tension you like hold in your hips. And just by doing some of those poses, it can change your mood drastically from the point where you start to the point where you end. I find it to be quite amazing, the changes it can do for you.
I feel amazingly relaxed right now.
Glennie's here, she teaches yoga. Anything you'd like to add, Glennie?
I agree with Kim that often the hardest part is just unrolling your mat and starting. And often you'll think, oh, I got whatever's happening in your mind, the hamster wheel, to avoid it. I never understand why I avoid it when it's the thing that helps me feel better about everything.
Yeah.
So I try to not avoid it so much. And like any habit, once you establish the habit, it's much easier to maintain. Once you fall out of it, it's difficult to reestablish it. It can be difficult to reestablish it, like meditation.
That's why it's so vital for most of us to have a regular time and place to do this, and just set that time aside. And if you don't feel like doing it, you just do it anyway, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have much time, you just shorten it, you know? Yeah.
I would like to add about yoga, I think it gets intimidating because you see these pictures and people who are doing these poses and are extremely flexible, but you gotta remember, they've probably been doing it for 5-10 years already, because I was very intimidated. When I first started, I was very lucky, there was only like 2 or 3 people in the class, and now I'm in this class where there's like almost 25 people, and for me to walk into that big group, it would have been very hard, but knowing a lot of those people had been doing it for 5 to 10 years, so never judge yourself against someone else, only know what you do and just keep working it, and little by little you'll just keep getting better, and just it helps you physically with a lot of like aches and pains that you have, and that way it really helps a lot too, so it's not just mind but also mind and body.
And it's not just like there's any one kind of yoga, there are many kinds. Some yoga teachers will talk about certain kinds of breathing techniques, which I'm not teaching. I just say, well, you know, notice your own normal natural breath, but there's so many different paths. So this is just introducing this to you as another option and becoming more aware of the body. I've got 2 more for next week, but right now I'm going to got these handouts for you. The first one is a summary of these poses. It has the standing ones, and then it also has some seated ones. Okay. You can see that at the top it says this is from the mindfulness-based stress reduction class, and if you want to see a teacher guiding you through this, you can go to uwhealth.org/mindfulness, and you can find these online. And they do it much slower. I think it probably takes about 45 minutes to do what we just did in 10 minutes. So that's valuable. And you can see it has the standing poses and the lying down poses. And look at the bottom. These are the important things to remember. Listen to your body, accept your limits, keep an attitude of kindness toward yourself. More important than the effort to the poses is the attention you bring to the poses. Keep a non-judgmental acceptance of whatever you experience. And you may notice pain or pleasure, and you just say, oh, that's part of it, right? The next handout is Mindfulness Resources. This has some books that you might find helpful. So many people find it's helpful if, as part of their meditation routine, to do some reading. That's the first thing I do when I get up in the morning. I sit down and read something. For instance, this is about my 8th time going through Real Happiness, and I always learn more. But there's so many other resources. You'll see there some books by Jon Kabat-Zinn, Full Catastrophe Living, and Wherever You Go, There You Are. He is probably the great founder in the United States of secular mindfulness education. Jon Kabat-Zinn started a program at University of Massachusetts Medical School 40-some years ago, doing some of the things we're teaching here. and doctors would refer patients to him with stress-based illnesses. He did research on this, and he's had been able to show the benefits of it. And particularly that's the first one, full catastrophe living, kind of goes through how he came to this and the history of it. The second one, wherever you go, there you are, is wonderful to take like 5 minutes to read. Like there are 2 to 3 pages at a time where it'll just give you just nuggets of great information. So I certainly recommend that. And then some of the other great teachers mentioned here, Jack Kornfield, Tara Brach, Pema Chodron. The one in the middle, Altered Traits by Daniel Goleman and Richard Davidson, talks about a lot of the research that's been done to show how meditation benefits us, different kinds of brain scans and how they've shown the benefits, the rewiring that happens. Richard Davidson is at UW-Madison. He's the founder of the Healthy Minds Institute, and they've got so much wonderful things right here in Madison that he's pioneered. Down toward the bottom are some things you can access online. Once again, it has some websites from University of Wisconsin with short guided meditations and practices. You can get an app on your phone that will help you with instructions. We have some guided meditations. Insight Timer is one many people have liked. I forget what one I have. It's just as simple. It's like a gong that sounds, and I can set it in 5-minute intervals. The one at the bottom I added, which is really amazing. It's an app, just Healthy Minds. It's free. This is from Madison, and they have short talks, like 5 to 10 minute talks about it, and then guided meditations. And you can put in whatever time you want. You want it to be 5 minutes, 10, 30 minutes, and they'll do tests periodically. They'll sort of a survey. How do you feel today? And different things. They're kind of, I think, using this data to see how the practice changes people. I highly recommend that. It's so easy, and if you have a spare 15 minutes and you're sitting somewhere, especially if you have ear pods, so you're not disturbing other people, it's really amazing. Really amazing. I highly recommend that.
I found Sharon Salzberg, the author of that book. She has a podcast called, I think it's Mata Hour.
Okay.
And she's definitely, if you look it up, I think it would start you at the latest one that she recently did, but I went out, she has like 100 and something, I think, of them. So I went back and started at the first one, and you could just see what a down-to-earth, very level-headed person she is. And it's just, she just talks through how she got into this, and then it just keeps progressing from there. And I found it very interesting.
That's cool.
I love her voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, I got the
Yeah.
audiobook or whatever that I took,
She reads it?
and she reads it.
Good.
Yes, it's very relaxing. I sit there, close my eyes and concentrate on the breath and listen to her. It's, yes.
And does your book have guided meditations that she leads? Did you see that?
Yeah.
How do you access that?
I have CDs.
I have CDs too. I think some of the newer editions, you do it through your computer somehow, a website.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have
I've
it.
tried, but I
I'm
can't
not
find
sure.
it. I like the CD better.
Yeah, I like the CDs myself too.
We're old school. I have CDs.
We're
so
old.
see those, or, you know, you can
I think she has QR codes.
Big copies.
Okay,
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
well, keep reading, so for next week, I'd like you to read, week 2, right? You haven't read that yet, that's Mindfulness and the Body. And that goes through some of the things we talked about tonight as well as some other things. So it's all about this moving from the breath, now being aware of the body. There's so much there. And we'll do some more stuff with that next week as well.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you all next week.
We'll close with a short sit, and before that, if you have any other questions, and if you want to stay after for a few minutes, if you have anything, that's okay. I like sometimes to mention that the bell is something that's traditionally used to signal the start and end of a meditation session, and it just kind of tells us that we're in a special time and place right now. And you know, as you get into your routine of your practice at home, having that place where you go kind of gets you in the mood for it too. I sit in front of my fireplace, and just being there, I know, oh, it's time to do this now. It kind of gets my mind in that mood. And like I said, next week I'll bring those cushions and things you can try. But we'll close with a short sit now. Assuming our mindfulness posture, relaxed but alert. Feeling the body, the feet, the seat, the hands, the shoulders, and letting them relax. And bringing attention to the breath. Maybe right now focusing on the belly, the rise and fall of the belly with each in and out breath. Not trying to control the breath, just noticing. Sometimes it's a deeper breath, sometimes it's shallower. When our attention wanders to a thought, just notice it, like a cloud passing the sky. Just let it go by and come back to the breath. This allows that clear blue sky, that clear mind that's behind all the thoughts, to be there. And the great wisdom that comes from that restful state. Not trying to figure out all our problems and plans, just letting them go, letting them pass down into the mind and being with each breath. And we can thank ourselves for taking the time to do this. And note that we're not helping only ourselves, but we're helping the whole world around us. Thank you, you've been great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Same time next week?
Same time next week.
All right, see you then.
thinking you go home right after that early.
So then I'm like, oh, I stopped it, and this came up. So,
You want these back in your, coat here? Wendy?
is this, I can do that,
Okay.
start, I don't wanna start the session, right, so we're good, I think.
Maybe click on that dot.